Now it's time for our Close-Up series, where we travel all over the country, revealing the gems of Russia's history and culture. Yes, and today we wrap up our exploration of the ancient Russian city of Tula and its suburbs. We focus on the estate of Yasnaya Polyana, the family home of the world-famous writer Leo Tolstoy. RT's Stacey Vivens gains an in-depth and personal understanding of what the author means to local residents.
The Close-Up crew and I are enjoying the tranquility and the history of Yasnaya Polyana in the Tula region. This is the hometown of famous Russian writer turned activist Leo Tolstoy. And we are actually standing on the Tolstoy estate where the artist was born and where he wrote some of his most famous works, including War and Peace. And behind me is the tree-lined birch alley that he writes about in War and Peace. And this alley leads up to the Tolstoy home, which is now a museum. Now, these grounds and the city that surrounds it served as a muse for the artist who is buried on this estate. And to join me now to talk about Yasnaya Polyana and its connection to Leo Tolstoy is a resident, a proud resident. Her name is Yulia Vronskaya. She's the manager of the International Literary Projects at the Museum Estate for Yasnaya Polyana. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Now let's talk a little bit about the connection that the writer had to this city.
Yeah, I think that among the most famous Russian writers, which are Chekhov, Tolstoy, and Dostoevsky, Leo Tolstoy had the most rigid connection with the place where he had lived, and the place was Yasnaya Polyana. So we should say that this rigid connection was expressed in his own words. He said that there won't be the Tolstoy without Yasnaya Polyana.
Okay, very good. Thank you so very much for sharing your time and your insight with the Close-Up crew. And here's more on the legacy of Leo Tolstoy, the writer and the humanitarian. Yasnaya Polyana is a place of pilgrimage for lovers, for aspiring writers, and for readers moved by the words penned by Russian novelist Leo Tolstoy. Visitors come to connect with the author and to see the home that shaped his life, the place where he wrote works like Anna Karenina, works that have captured periods in time, works that have also endured. Wow, so this is the room. This is where Tolstoy wrote the first chapters of War and Peace. His great-great-grandson, Vladimir, is the estate's director. He gave me a tour of the home, which is now a museum. For the younger Tolstoy, overseeing the grounds means preserving a national legacy.
It is important to me personally. It is important to Russia and the whole of humanity, because Tolstoy's ideas are very relevant today. His ideas about non-violence, complex state government, and a person's relationship with religion.
His religious views are forever linked to the Doukhobors, a small group of Christians who disagreed with the rituals of the Orthodox Church. Certain sectors of the Doukhobor population were forced to Russia's Caucasus region for their views, while Tolstoy himself was excommunicated by Orthodox Church authorities. The ancestors of this group of Doukhobors were considered more radical because they not only disagreed with the church, but they also disagreed with the government in matters of war. As pacifists, Doukhobors refused to join the military, and for their stance, they were beaten, jailed, and exiled to Siberia. Tolstoy shared their views on religion and on nonviolence. He used his influence to save them from persecution and to help them relocate to Canada. There they lived within their own communities, practicing their faith and maintaining their Russian heritage. More than 100 years after their relatives made it to Canada, the Podobinnikov family is returning to Russia, resettling in Yasnaya Polyana. Husband and wife have been chipping away little by little to build a home that will also serve the Doukhobor community. And they're doing it with the moral support of a Tolstoy.
You have family that you have through blood, and then you have family that you have through spirit. And I think we had a spiritual connection from the first time we met. When we came to Yasnaya Polyana and we started wandering around the village with Volodya, we've decided that, yes, we have to have grassroots, actually roots together for the future.
Elaine's enthusiasm doesn't surprise her father. He says all of Canada's Doukhobors revere the man they call Grandpa Tolstoy. In fact, Eli Popov's father was in Siberia when Tolstoy managed to help free him. For that, his family is forever indebted.
Dedushka Tolstoy, the one that helped the Doukhobors, and he was a pillar unto the heavens as far as the Doukhobors were concerned. 100
years after his death, Leo Tolstoy continues to inspire Doukhobors and the world through his deeds and his works. Stacy Bivens, RT, Yasnaya Polyana.
Well, now for something